Good morning everybody. My name is Matias Miranda. I am from second year of the high school program of English pedagogy. And now I'm going to talk to you about the national standards of pedagogy. So first of all, we have to understand that we have two types of standards. The first one is the disciplinary standard. And this one is about English language itself, about our discipline. And the second one, it's about pedagogical standards for high school teaching. So it's pedagogy for high school students itself. So let's begin with the first questions. First question: what are the main language elements and how can we teach them to our students in the school system? Well, so first of all, the main language elements of an English class are the lexic grammar, the phonetics, the phonological, and the pragmatic. And how can we teach them? Basically, we always teach them these four elements in almost every class. The difference is that the difficulty that they will have, the students will have, will increase as they approve the courses. A good example is that, for example, in first year of high school, the students will have classes of grammar, and in terms of speaking, they will have to be able to express their opinions. Meanwhile, in the phonetics of fourth grade of high school, students will have almost the ability and they will be almost able to speak properly and communicate in terms of level B2. Second question: what is the relevance in reading, listening comprehension competences? How can we use them to organize the learning process? Well, basically it's important to acquire and to get the competence in listening and reading comprehension, because they are axis of the teaching learning process. One of the relevance are that they are receptive skills. So the students receive in their ears the sounds or what they are listening to, and with their eyes they read. So they receive language. Example. One example could be that they first of all listen and then they will speak. And then in the case of the reading, they first of all read and then they write. So, third question: why is the speaking skill relevant for students? Well, as I said in the last answer, listening and reading are axes of the teaching learning process. In addition, the speaking is an axis too. But as a personal opinion, speaking is the most important and relevant skill to improve and to develop. Speaking is at the same time the most important skill to develop, because the speaking makes everyone able to communicate with confidence, eloquence, developing strong relationships with another human beings. One of the examples that I can give is that in the majority of the time, 24/7, we are communicate with other human beings orally, principally. I know that the other three skills are really important too, but we really know how important is speaking on the daily routine. 4. How can we integrate the four skills in our lessons? Basically, we can integrate these lessons in a 90-minute lesson. If we check the lesson plans, the majority of them have the four skills. For example, in fourth grade, they have to take the book. They will have to read, first of all, the instructions. And the instruction says, for example, you must speak. So the students speak. And also when the professor gives them feedback, they will listen and the majority of them, they will write the answers, right? In that case, they are using the 4 skills. Number 5, how can we use assessment or evaluations to register the progress of the learning process? Well, basically, the assessment is one of the registers that teachers must take to receive the data about what did the students comprehend. How can we use it? Easy, using tests, giving rubrics for a specific projects, among other type of evaluations. One of the most common ones are the ones that I already said, that are the tests and the rubrics. Number 6, what is a C1 level? What are the elements that you need to master as a teacher of English, and how are they useful to teach at schools? Well, according to the Common European Framework of References, C1 level is the second best level of English after the C2. The Common European Framework of Reference is a guideline used to describe achievements of learners of English as a foreign language, as a second language, and as a first language. To understand also, C1 level means that we understand a wide range of demanding words, texts, among others, and also to have a good expression of ideas fluently. Basically, C1 means that we already understand almost everything in English, and also we can speak about every topic, being easy, difficult, contingent, etc. Let's move on. Question number 7. Can you mention different ESL methodologies and theories? Well, the English second language methods and theories are the following. Methods, we have the total physical response, or TPR, we have the Suggestopedia, the silent way, and the natural approach. And the theories, we have the behaviorism, we have the theories given by Chomsky, and the theory given by Skinner, among others. Question number 8. Can teachers design and implement resource and activities? Provide an example. Yeah, of course that they can. What can be an easy example? Well, basically, in the case of the English, they could implement listening activities with a radio, sing songs. They also can create manual activities. For example, create posters or create presentations in which they can talk about a specific topic of an interest topic. Number 9. How can we help students from different backgrounds to learn a second language? Well, basically, I will always say that Utalca has one of the most important backgrounds to learn a second language. The immersion in it is one of the best modes and most effective modes to understand and to acquire a second language. Also, the teacher, in the majority of the cases of the school, must check what they already know as a pre-knowledge, and afterwards they can start with a lesson, you know. And number 10. Is it important to continue learning after graduating? Well, this answer is a personal opinion, first of all, and I will say that it's really important to continue learning after graduating. First of all, because if we learn more, we are a person with more conversation, with more knowledge, and we are more professional. If we are learning topics about the career, right? And also in terms of masters or PhD, I think that it will be always a good idea to continue learning and continue studying after graduating. You know that the language almost have, I'm not sure if every day has a change the dictionary, but in some days there are new words, new definitions, new synonyms, and as we already said many times in the university, we are not dictionaries, so we already don't know every single word of the dictionary. So meanwhile we are learning, we are being best persons, best professionals, and best English speakers. Right, so let's begin with the second part of the National Standards video. Now we are going to watch and listen the second part, Pedagogical Standards for High School, Teaching or Pedagogical Skills. So let's begin. First question, how can we define a high school student? And how do they learn in this life stage? Well, basically, these students from high school are basically a teenager who is searching for many things, such as their identity and their interest. How do they learn? They learn using new resources such as internet, technology, or ICTs in general. Second question, how can you help your students to develop their personal and social skills? Well, yeah, we can. We can help them. In fact, I believe, as a personal opinion, that for the majority of the students, we are a kind of example, you know. And as a high school teacher, I think that we are always helping the students to develop personal and social skills, like the personality, or they can see us and they can improve their skills talking or moving in front of the class, you know, and in other type of skills. So, number 3, explain how the curriculum for high school is in the English subject in Chile. Well, the curriculum in Chile for high school, we have, classes in the 4 years, from 1st grade of high school until 4th grade of high school. We have in every year a little bit more than 100 of hours per year, which is only a few hours, I think, because if you compare with language lessons of Spanish, of course, they have many much hours than ourselves. They have, in the case of the English, a little bit more than 100 hours per year. We have a little bit more than 30 hours. I think that it's 38 hours per unit. And the whole years, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they have only 4 units, right? Only 4 units. They have lessons 3 hours per week, in some schools 2, and in some schools more than 3 hours, but it depends on the schedule of the class and if they are a liceo, a normal school, or a private school. Well, 4th question, number 4. What is important to consider when teaching in different environment and school? So, I think that because of the pace, the rhythm, and everything, is not the same to teach classes in the north, in Arica for example, in the center zone, Santiago, Rancagua, and it's not the same to teach in the south, Chiloé, Punta Arenas, among other places in the south, you know. Basically that is because, well, we have many factors. We have the weather factor, we have the money factor, the socio-economical situation that the families have. Also, we can say that the people who are next to the students, for example, there are some places in Santiago that they have very bad situation, many crimes and stuff, and there are cities in the same Santiago, for example, in which they have a lot of money. To be honest, the money is a thing that gives us many power in terms of what can I acquire, and people from rich places, they have get access to very good schools with very good environment and very good standards of education. So that could be some of the aspects to consider when we teach a class, you know. Question number 5. How can you organize a lesson, and how can you organize the environment? Well, basically, as we are being trained for almost 4 semesters, the organization of a lesson is the following. First of all, we have a warm-up or activation in which the professor gives the topic to talk or engage the students, giving a topic of interest or something that make the students feel interested or engaged in the lesson, in the first stage, you know. Then we have the while, in which in the majority of the classes the students make the work that the professor is asking for, or also they are creating material, producing texts, or only communicating, or in some cases making a test. And finally, we have to wrap up, that is a consolidation or the ending of a class, in which the students in general they receive feedback from the professor, they check their answers with a classmate, or basically they check if what they did is correct or not, right? And 6, mention different assessing strategies for different purposes. So basically, one of the strategies that is most common in English is to use another kind of lesson, you know. And what do I mean with different kind of lessons? For example, chemistry classes are only content, language classes only content, math only content, you know. And the English, apart to be a difficult course and subject for everyone, the reality is really tough. The reality is that the majority of the students doesn't have the level that they must have according to their level, to their course, you know. So the majority of the professors make fun activities, ludic activities, and activities that can engage the learners or the students with the topic, with the professor, and with the class itself, you know. The strategy could be use songs, use movies, use video games, in fact, use artists, use activities such as posters, presentations in PowerPoint, presses, videos like this one, among others, right? Number 8, do you consider diversity relevant inside of the classroom? Yeah, of course that it is. I could say a personal experience. My school is a school in which, in Linares, Colegio Concepción, in which I had many classmates from every part of the world. I remember that I had Sasivi Mol from Thailand. I had also my friend Alatak from Denmark, and I also had my friend Carlos from Colombia. So what can I say? I can say that their minds, their way of thinking, their lifestyles are so different of ours, so we can learn a lot of things from them. And I remember that with my 2 classmates, Alatak and Sasivi Mol, I have many conversations with them in English, because they use the language as a second language, you know. And also another experience that I can say is that in my practicum, in my second practicum in Liceo Valentín Letelier, I had many students from many places, I had Mapuches students, I have students from another countries such as all in Latin America, Venezuela, Colombia, students from Ecuador, I think too. And the diversity, I think that it's awesome. The students learn a lot, we learn a lot, because their way of thinking, their lifestyles, and everything in them, it's completely different. You know, so that's it. I think that it's really relevant because we learn a lot as a educative community, as a student, as a learner, as a teacher, and as a person, as a human being. Also, number 9, is it important to express yourself as a graduate teacher in an oral and written manner? I think it is, because both of the skills that are oral and written manner are the most important, and also we have a stigma. The stigma is the following: the students in the school cannot know anything about English. They always know how to say hello car and some bad words that I'm not going to say now. But it's a really reality that the students are always looking at us in every sense. How are we dressed, how we talk, how we move the hands, and other things. And it's an important aspect to express ourselves properly. First of all, because they are teaching from ourselves, and also because they are always looking at us. And if we make a mistake, we are bad, very bad teachers. You know how the teenagers think. And last question, number 10. Do you think it's enough with obtaining your diploma once you are degraded? Well, I think that I answered a similar question in the first standards, the last question of the English language disciplinary standards. And I think that it's really important to have more than our diploma of English pedagogy or first degree, I think that it's really important to have masters, courses, and even a PhD, but the last one is more expensive, more difficult to get, and we need more time. But I think that it's not enough having just our diploma from English pedagogy, because in a master we learn a lot. Also, as a reality, Chile and the world itself is passing for a difficult moment. We need money to live, and we need a lot of money to live properly. So having a master, we have more money in our pocket, and it's also a reality. As a personal opinion, I have vocation, but I also I need money to live in the future, to have a good lifestyle for myself, for my family in the future, who knows, for even my sons, daughters, who knows, So yeah, I think that it's not enough with the diploma of English pedagogy, because we need to be more professional, and we have to have at the same time more money to live. So with that answer, I'm finishing my work. So thank you very much for your attention, Professor, and everyone who is watching me, and have a nice day, nice week, and nice 2020. Thank you very much.